For the record, I kept this bonnet on because the bonnet looked better than my hair for the last part, so don't judge me. But anyway, coming on here because I just recently got back in my feelings about a situation about somebody that I actually know that is possibly, it hasn't been proven, and the little girl has denied it once her parents and another relative asked her. But the little girl told her friend of hers, and let's keep in mind that the little girl is only 10 years old, and told a friend of hers, and that some things was going on with her with a family member at the family member's house. This family member may be, most likely, the same family member that sexually abused my daughter when she was 7. I actually just found out the truth about it myself, about my own daughter, maybe 3-4 years ago, about that time when she finally decided to tell me. So with this story, from me being abused, I tried my best to try to break the cycle with my own kids, not just my daughters, with my sons too, because you never know. Unfortunately, my youngest daughter burst my bubble a few years ago when she decided that she couldn't handle it anymore and told me the truth. With this story, the funny thing is, I asked my daughter because one specific day when I went to pick her up from her aunt's house, her father's sister house, I walked in and my kids be saying I'm crazy because I feel things. And my mom, they all say I'm more like one of my aunts, that I just feel stuff, and most of the time I go with my gut. So this particular day, I walked in and just the air wasn't right when I walked in the house to pick my daughter up. And I looked at the dude and I said, "You did something to my daughter?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Caleb, did he do something to you?" And she said, "No." And he was sitting on the floor. He was, what is he, like 7, 8 years older than her, 6, 7, 8 years older than my daughter or whatever. And so I took my foot and I literally just stumped on his hand that was on the floor. And I took my daughter and I left. And on the way home, because at this time they lived in Prince George County and I lived in Annapolis, and I'm asking her, and she's like, "No, mommy, no, mommy." And maybe it was my approach because I've calmed down a lot. Anybody know me know I was hyper. Like, I would just go off. I would even go off on my kids because I wanted them to be more than I even thought they could be or whatever. But let's not get on that part. But the next day, I took my daughter to the doctors with the concern, and they found nothing. My daughter kept saying no. So I kept my daughter away for a few months. Her father, because at that time, her father already knew about one of my abusers. And so he told me I was just crazy, and just because it happened to me, that there wasn't happening to nobody else, and fuck that, and I'm just being simple crazy. And then her grandmother, her paternal grandmother, called me as well, told me, "Nikki, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that. You know, Kayla loves being here. She told you nothing happened, da 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 da." A few months passed. My daughter wanted to keep going. I'm saying, okay. I let them get in my psyche. Like, okay, maybe I am tripping. I let my daughter go back. But the promise was that my daughter wouldn't go back to the aunt's house. She would only be at the grandmother's house. But I found out that when she was there, she would go to the aunt's house. And then before I pick her back up, she would just get taken back to the grandmother's house. And so, as I was saying, I didn't find out till a few years ago that it continued on after I dropped my daughter back off. So, I, as a parent and a victim myself, feel like a failure because I knew, and even though there was no evidence because of what he did to my daughter. There was no penetration, but he did other awful things to my daughter that even her abuse is not worse than mine, because it's not like a comparison, but I was penetrated. I was abused, but I never had to, my mouth was never involved, per se. My daughter has told her story, so I can repeat it. My daughter had to suck on this guy's penis over and over and over. She was 7. There is no proof unless you get your child and they admit it to you and you take them and get that mouth swab if something's in there. That hurts. My heart hurts, but at the same time, I just know that for whatever reason, this happens a lot more than what we as people want to admit. Our problems within our own communities are formed right from our own families. We cry in silence. We cry out. We're told to shut up. We do things. We're beat for them. We're told we're not supposed to do this, but no one's figuring out why these things are happening. So without me disclosing any direct information about the victim at hand, I still want to say she's 10. She's doing other things and has been doing other things for a little while now. They been literally already reaching out to my daughter that they reached out to this time about other little things that she's doing. It's there. All the signs are there. This girl's mother reached out to my daughter. My daughter didn't know anything about it. She reached out to her to come because this is what the other parent called and told her. Parents was there. My daughter was there. She was there. It's been told to me by my daughter that it broke her heart to watch this little girl because it looked just like she did with her head down and hurry up and said, no, it didn't happen. No, he didn't, nothing happened too quickly. And it's done because she said no. All they're worried about now is her other issues that she has, the other acting out stuff she's doing, and the friends that she hang around with. They're the problem, according to the person that I spoke to. The mother was supposed to call me. She never did. I reached out to her this morning to just talk to her. No anger, just say, hey, give her some of my insight. Just because she said no doesn't mean it didn't happen. We're scared. We do our own reasons. This little girl has been around these same people that have talked about Kayla. So she hears that. Who knows what the predator is telling her at this time? That's how it works. I've been there. So what happens is he becomes comfortable. They become comfortable with this whole thing. It's a game to them now. They can win it. Because why? Because the victim is the liar. The victim is the dummy. The victim is the attention seeker. All those things. And so then they can get their next victim by using it, especially when they're all in the same little group and do it all. So my daughter was supposed to go and pick up the little girl to talk to her. The predator's sister called the little girl's mom and told her, don't let her go with Kayla because she's just going to get you locked up. So now my daughter is the problem. That wasn't what my daughter's intentions was. My daughter's intentions was to talk to her to see what happened, see what's going on. But guess what I told my daughter? Maybe this is the higher power. And I already told my daughter this morning. Maybe this is the higher power saying, yes, stay away from her so that they can't say that you put anything in her brain, in her lips, anything. But I never wanted to call CPS on anybody because CPS has been called on me in the past for me punching my oldest daughter in her mouth. But the thing was, when CPS should have been called when I was just beating my kids because they were lying instead of just doing something else, nobody stepped in. So this is what I'm talking about, the whole community. So it's everything that we have to deal with. And as we get older, we figure it all out, that we didn't do everything right. But in this whole instance with these child sexual predators, somebody has to do something. Because then next thing you know, this 10-year-old will be 20, 25 coming out. And guess what people say? What took you so long? If it really happened, all that BS. The same way I said it, if I was 6 or even that 11-year-old, because mine happened between the ages of 6 to 11 that whole time. 3 different people of my family. And I'm going to be honest, one of them I've had totally forgiven. I have totally forgiven him. I honestly think that what he did was he wasn't thinking, and it may seem weird, but guess what? At the same time, my daughters, my sons, my grandkids, grandsons, granddaughters, great, will not be in his presence because I'm still not that stupid. All in all, what I'm trying to tell us as people, we got to get out of this, that when it's family, is okay. Because it's not. We fucked up. Generation after generation is fucked up. Wonder why. And then the society puts us in the same communities and wonder why we can't do what we supposed to do. Why? Because we uphold one another. It's only when someone else does something to us or ours do we have a problem. And that's not where I'm at no more. So I do want to let all of you know that I am actually not my daughter. I told her back up because right now she hurting. Her family again is tripping. She even reached out to her grandmother, her paternal grandmother yesterday. She didn't answer her phone or call her back. So we know again where that stands, the same way it stood first. And like I told my daughter, we are hurt more than once. We are hurt when the action occurs. We are hurt while we're dealing with it, whether we tell anybody or not. We hurt. And then when we decide to tell somebody, we get hurt again. Because at that time, the law, our family, our friends, they're not guaranteed to believe us, understand us. We have to prove it to them, what happened to us. We know what happened. The abuser knows what happened. And the God that most of y'all serve know what happened. But we, the victim, have to prove it. And it's a hard pill to swallow for your family that you was tight with when they just, it's bad. With me, I cut people off, a lot of them. It hurt me like shit. It hurt me. But it was necessary. So now I have to actually sit here 900 some miles from my daughter and work with her to just let her know it's okay to let go of those people. It's not about what nobody did for you, what they didn't do for you. Because we all know it was me, her stepdaddy, that took care of her. She couldn't call on nobody. In her pain, when she needed, as growing up, we fed her. But it don't matter because that's still her family. To her. as it did to me. I grieved horribly when my grandmother left this earth. And I realized that one of the women that I love so much, I had distanced myself from her because of what happened to me. And her not talking about it, or me hearing stuff behind, through other people's mouth that wasn't for me, it hurt. I love my grandmother, but it hurt. To let my aunt go, let some cousins go, it hurt. They chose other people. Then you ask yourself, if I was that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old girl that would have came to you while it was happening to me, would it have been any different? I had to stop asking myself that, because I would never know. And because I know the truth, that's all that really matters. I just need to get my daughter there to the point of knowing that life's gonna go on. Even if I didn't believe you, it goes on. It don't matter. As long as you know the truth, you're gonna have to find a way to deal with that. And what I had to do was stop concentrating on what happened to me, why this, why it happened, why when I came out, why did I keep it in so long, and why did the people do me this way, or why didn't someone see it? Why when I told on one person doing it to another person, why was I still sent back there, period? Even if I did say no, that it didn't happen to me. But I already just told you that I witnessed it happening to someone else, but I was sent back there. Those were questions that burned my soul. And those are the questions that I know now affect some victims now. And I know some of y'all that's watching this, something has happened and you will never say anything. And that's perfectly fine. As long as you deal with it, you can deal with it. Then there's others that have come out or will come out or think about coming out that's watching this. It's real. It's not the strangers. It can be. This is real stuff. Protect your children. I don't care if it's your daddy, your uncle, your cousin, your mama, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your second cousin, your best friend. Protect your children. Get us out of this place that we're in, and then maybe the community can even get better. Thank y'all for listening. And I just wanted y'all to know, when I write how I feel. But I'm really not that angry. I'm past that. I'm more to the point of, if you need to hear me, I'm going to say it the way you can hear me. Everybody don't like you coming to them calm and try to talk to them and, try to give them some advice. When people give me advice, I listen to it. Sometimes I take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes I take it in. It depends on the situation or how I feel. But I do think about it. But everybody, let's just end this child sexual abuse, this child molestation, this incest. It's bad. It's damaging. I don't regret my 6 kids at all. I love my babies. My babies have been blessings. They may have saved me from the times that I've thought about suicide. They saved me. I had something to live for. Then I have this one friend that when I really was on the edge after I came out about it and my family was turning against me, I'll never forget, She stopped me because one time I was about there. for something that somebody else did to me. I didn't do it to myself. I was a kid. I just came out as an adult. And this little girl is 10. And if her father listened to this, or her mother, take it into consideration. But I do want you to know that I did call Prince George County Child Protection Agency. It's the weekend. They're not open. The voicemail they send you to is full. So if you don't believe me, you can dial the number. But they are open from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. So tomorrow morning, I will be on the phone. And the only reason I'm doing this because you are not taking the steps to protect your daughter. I will not be a part of this cover-up. If it happened, it happened. If it hasn't, it hasn't. There's no way that another child gonna tell her mom that this child told her and don't even know the situation that's already been at hand. And then, Mom, you believed her at first, or you wouldn't have reached out to Kayla. And then you continue to talk to the family, and they got in your head. The pattern has to stop. Have a good day.